Folks, welcome into the Trainwreck Sports Fantasy Show. We're breaking down some baseball, and it is late in August here. People are starting to feel it. Is it October yet, Stevie? No, it's not, and that's why we're here to break down some more fantasy baseball stuff for you guys. Stevie, how you feeling looking at these standings right now? We're going to have some very fun races going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's actually been a couple crazy weeks the past weeks. We've seen the Yankees surge with 11 straight wins. We've seen the Reds surge and overtake the Padres for that second wild card spot in the NL. And then we've seen the Red Sox and Athletics look like they don't want that second spot in the AL. It's been pretty crazy. I don't love it because, as you know, I gave out the Athletics at 30-1 as a World Series, just hoping that they can get there from the AL. Now I'm just hoping they make the playoffs. But these races have been crazy, and it's been kind of the tale of two teams in New York, right? You have the Yankees who have surged to top. They look like they could win the World Series. And then the Mets, the classic end-of-season Mets, free-falling again. They're now 7 games back in the division. It seems like every year we're like, oh, this Mets team, they can't mess up. They'll figure it out. You know, they had probably their best lineup that was underachieving in the first half all year. Their pitching rotation was great. It was deep. And now the Mets are in the same spot they always are, just breaking their fans' hearts.
Absolutely, and Javi Baez is absolutely saying hello to pitches as they go by, missing them by like 4 or 5 feet. Absolutely, it just goes to show like how tough it is when these guys are throwing so hard and like then they get you with a breaking ball. Like when you're sitting fastball and it's a breaking ball, like sheesh, because you got to start swinging so much earlier. It really throws off your timing. But yeah, you said it there talking about the Yankees. They've really, really been pushing, but the Rays have held steady, and it's sort of the same thing there in the NL West. I believe the Dodgers something like 13-2 in their last 15, but they've only gained like 1.5 games in the standings on the Giants. Giants have been playing very well still. So I think this is gonna come down to some very fun September baseball, and October is gonna be insane because, you know, for a while it was kind of, oh, the Dodgers are definitely winning this, but they can't even win their division still.
I know. And that's the craziest part.
It should be wide open.
The Giants have been the biggest surprise of the season. No one expected this from them. Most people are projecting 4th, 3rd in the division at best.
Yeah,
and Buster Posey's
playing like he's 10 years younger.
Yeah, their whole team. Desclafani, Kevin Gossman. It's incredible what the Giants are doing. Their bullpen has been lights out from the 6th inning on. And since they added Chris Bryant, that lineup it's just sparked. It's been incredible to see what they're doing. I was never a believer in the Giants, but they just keep winning games. How can you not?
Yeah, Chris Bryant with another home run last night in New York, I believe. Sorry, Rob Ryan. Good luck with the Mets trying to get to the playoffs. But, Stevie, we got to get into the fantasy baseball now. And there's still some guys that you can add to your roster in free agency that can help. I just got lucky. Someone had dropped Luis Robert in my league, and I don't care. I'm not going to the playoffs. I'm going to snag him just to screw everyone else. Probably some sort of roster manipulation, IL stuff, because he was just strapped. Like he just cleared waivers today, but I got him. Stevie, not everyone else is going to be that lucky. Who are you targeting as some guys to add to make a nice playoff push?
So I got 3 free agent targets right now, and then there's a couple other players I want to talk about later. But the first one, he pitched last night. It's Edward Cabrera. He's owned in 18.6% of ESPN leagues. Last night, through 6 innings, he looked great. 6 shutout innings. He was getting a lot of ground balls, only 2 strikeouts, but that's not a concern because we've seen what he can do in the minors with the swing and misses. And then it got to him in the 7th inning. He gave up a 2-run homer to Josh Bell, I believe. He gave up a solo home run after that. And his stat line didn't look too great. 6 in the 3rd innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 runs, 2 strikeouts. But let me tell you, the hype on Edward Cabrera is real. He has a high velocity fastball that has sinking motion. You can call it a fastball, you can call it a sinker, whatever you want. But it is very good pitch. He combines that with a changeup, which he has one of the best changeups I've seen for a pitcher of his age, his first start in the majors. And then he's got a really good hard slider with that too. Edward Cabrera is going to generate a ton of strikeouts going forward. And the Marlins said they're hoping to keep him in the rotation for the rest of the year, even with Pablo Lopez coming back, even with Rogers coming back. Cabrera he's going to get starts. He's going to get looks. And he's a guy not only who can help you in the fantasy playoffs, but he's a guy you could stash in a dynasty, a keeper league. And he's only owned in 18% of ESPN leagues right now. I liked what I saw from him yesterday. He got a little lucky. He had 3 double play groundouts to end the innings, 4, 5, and 6 all in a row. But he showed that high velocity. He showed good location. And really, the runs kind of came. He was just looked fatigued in the 7th inning. Didn't have his normal stuff. But going forward, I think he has a very high ceiling. I love Edward Cabrera. You're muted, Ty.
Oh, when MLB put out their new updated top 100 prospect list, he was actually the Marlins' top-rated pitcher, overtook that spot from Sixto, Max Meyer. They had him below both of those guys before, but they're absolutely stacked with some pitchers coming up. Like I just mentioned, Max Meyer, Sixto's going to be back at some point. Jake Eater's been absolutely tearing up in Double-A in his first professional experience. He was kind of a later-round pick, kind of an afterthought for a lot of guys. But out of Vanderbilt, he's really, really performed well. Could be, a year or so away from getting into that rotation as well. The Marlins have a very bright future. Yes. But Stevie, who else are you looking to add right now?
So this guy's the opposite of a prospect. It's Miles Mikolas of the St. Louis Cardinals. And the big thing for me is he's available in 66% of ESPN leagues. And he's shown he's been a good established starter since he's returned to the majors. In 2018, he went 18-4, a 2.80 ERA, a 1.1 whip, 146 strikeouts, I believe. And that 2019, his record wasn't as great, 9-14. The ERA was a low 4, whip around 1.2, 144 strikeouts there. But he's facing the Pirates tonight, Ty. And what do we know about the Pirates? They have the worst offense in baseball, and it's not even close. And it's been even worse after the break when they sold off some pieces. I love Mikolas. He's made 1 start since being activated off the 60-day IL, and it was against the Pirates. He threw 5 innings, no earned runs. I believe he struck out 5 batters. And he's facing the Pirates again. I think it's a great streaming option, and he's a decent pitcher with a good track record. So you shouldn't be too worried about streaming this guy. This is someone you could stream. He gives you 6 shutout innings against the Pirates. Maybe hold on to him for his next start, because a lot of times in the fantasy playoffs, it's 2-week matchups. Or even if you're in a 1-week matchup, you just carry him into next week. Available in 66% of leagues. I love streaming Mikolas tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, especially with a bunch of these pitchers heading back to the IL, like Jack Flaherty and now Tristan McKenzie. Also, some guys were picking him up over the past couple of weeks. He'd been really finding his game, but he's going to be out for a bit, unfortunately. But Stevie, who else you got for us?
I got one more, and it's a batter, and I'm sure a lot of people have never heard of this guy. It's Andy Ibanez of the Texas Rangers. First thing I'll say, the Texas Rangers are garbage. They're a bad team, but it doesn't matter. This is fantasy baseball. It doesn't matter how the team's success is. It's how the player's success is. And Andy Ibanez, 9-game hitting streak right now, but his last 5 games have all been multi-hit games. If you had him in your lineup these past 2 weeks, you're probably winning batting average. You're probably winning slugging. You're probably winning on base. He's batting .515 right now with a home run, 4 runs, and 5 RBIs in that 9-game hitting streak. And his season-long numbers, they're okay. 255 average, 299 on base, 399 slugging, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. But he crushed the ball in the minors this year. In AAA, he was batting .352 with a .410 on base, a .648 slugging, 6 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 20 runs in just 27 games. The Rangers called him up, and he's played in every game since July 18th. He's appeared in every game. So he plays every day. He's not going to have those off days, which hurts your lineup, give you a goose egg. He's going to help, and the Rangers have nothing to play for, Ty, right? So play these players. Yeah, he's 28 years old. Yeah, he's a little late bloomer, but he's available in 96% of leagues. He's hitting the ball the best he has ever in his career right now in that stretch. And we've seen the track record. He tore the cover off the ball in the minors this year. Last year, he batted .300 with 20 home runs at AAA. It's just about getting an opportunity. Right now, he has it because the Rangers are a terrible team. And he's been on fire. I mean, 5 straight multi-hit games. You have a couple 3-hit games in there. I love just riding the hot streak. I've talked about it all year long. There's some players, just pick them up when they're hot and ride it out. See how long usage you can get out of them. Andy Ibanez fits that description perfectly.
Absolutely, especially when he's free. Key emphasis on free and free agent. But Stevie, some more guys that should be free. We're going to look at some more prospects. Last week, gave out Nick Prado. What did he do? 4 home runs in consecutive days.
Yep.
Homer. And Keibert Ruiz, what did he do? 4 home runs in the past week as well. His bat has really gotten going. Will not be surprised if he gets called up very, very soon for the Nats. They could really use his bat right now if it stays as hot as it is. But I'm going to get it started here with some of these prospects. Bobby Witt, the 3rd ranked overall prospect in all of baseball. The man has been on a tear this season, 27 home runs overall. And he struggled a little bit getting called up to AAA at first. But in his past 10 games, he's hitting 317, 683. OPS or slugging percentage with 3 home runs, 6 doubles, 10 RBIs. The man is figured things out, and the Royals, another team who faded, they're out of things. Yeah. Why not try him out, get him ready for the start of the next season? And a guy at a premium position at shortstop, he can play third base, so he should bring versatility for the long term, Stevie, for some of these teams.
Yeah, I love that call. Bobby Witt is someone I've kind of been on my watch list all season long because we're expecting him to play next year the majority of his season, if not the entire season, with the Royals. He's a guy in keeper dynasty leagues. If he's available, go out and grab him. Not only stash him if you need him this year, but next year too. Bobby Witt is someone who has a very, very high ceiling. He's just one of those, superstars that just has every tool. He can do everything you need. I love that call.
Yep, absolutely. And now I'm going to go with a duo of guys here on the Detroit Tigers, a team that actually has been the 3rd best team in the AL since the All-Star break, 21-15. But they're still out of things. They're not going to make a run. They're not catching up. It's a little bit too little, too late. And when you're looking at it, they have some of those young pieces there, especially in that rotation, who have made it up through the ranks. Isaac Fredis is up there too. So there's some younger guys on that roster. Why not infuse it with guys like Spencer Torkelson or Riley Green? Let them get their first action in this last month there. It doesn't hurt if you're potentially thinking about bringing them up next season, if you're not worried about some of these usage and time up and all that type of stuff. But Spencer Torkelson hit his first AAA home run last night. Hopefully he gets things going in AAA. He was hitting 263 in AA this season with 14 home runs. He's made the ascension all the way up from high A all the way up to AAA this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it all the way to the majors because he's 22 years old. No reason not to start pushing him. If you think he can hit, if he figures things out here maybe over the next week, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a call. But Riley Green has been hitting very well in AAA. So far, 300 batting average in his 8 games with a home run, 8 RBIs. He's getting a couple walks, striking out a little bit more than you'd like, but the power's there, the vision's still there. He's still doing enough with the bat that you're not worried about the strikeouts that much. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw either of these guys get infused into that lineup to get a taste before next season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because it's weird we're saying this, Ty, but the Tigers might have a little bit of a bright future going forward. They've got a lot of young pitchers, a lot of young hitters, a lot of good prospects. So why not see what you can get for these last couple weeks? They're not making the playoffs. Some of their prized possessions, see what you get out of them. And then going forward next year, the Tigers, they could be a sleeper team. They've had a lot of guys who have overachieved this year for them, with Grossman, Scope, Hasse, and now you got these young guys coming in. I really like the future of the Tigers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And another team with a great future with some of these prospects, the Cincinnati Reds. I like what Hunter Green's done over his past few starts, 2.57 ERA over his last 7 starts with an 11.3 K per 9 rate. I like that. He struggled a little bit early on in AAA, but he's figured things out again, moving right back up that top 100 rankings. And another guy, Jose Barrero, he's been very good for the Reds this year. I think he might have just gotten called back up too. So, He might be up now. I'm trying to figure that out. But Stevie, I think the Reds, another team. Oh, yep, he's getting the start today, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, Jose Barrero, guy to add, plays shortstop as well. He's a guy who's in that 20 to 30 range in top prospects in the entire MLB. He might not be, an elite level talent, and he might not give you that full power, but I still like what he does. Brings a whole bunch of different stuff, and he's very, very sound defensively, where the team has really struggled at that shortstop position. They've tried a bunch of different guys there over the past few seasons, but he gets on base a lot, makes hard contact. He's got a lot of raw power. The pop isn't fully polished yet, but I think he can do enough up there with his baseball IQ to really help the Reds in that playoff push.
Well, and that's the exact thing I was going to talk about. The Reds right now are one game ahead of the Padres for that second wildcard spot.
And that's why you call him up today, so he's on your
Exactly.
playoff roster. So we're going to see that with some of these guys. If you get called up on September 1st, that's your first call up, you're not going to be eligible for the playoff roster. You have to be up before then. So we'll see some movement even before the 1st.
And those are the teams you want to look out for, right? The ones that are going for those little bubble playoff positions. The Reds are the perfect team for that because they have a pretty good team that's been playing very well since the All-Star break. Why not get the best roster possible you can before that cutoff? I think looking at stashing a few of the Reds prospects is a very, very good idea.
Absolutely, Stevie. And that's going to do it for me with my prospects. There's still probably some other guys. I really love Keibert Ruiz getting called up soon, so make sure if he gets that call up, add him to your roster right away, because if that pop is what it's been over the past week, oh yeah, you're going to love that at the catcher position. That might be what you need to win a championship, and that's why you need to watch the Trainwreck Sports Fantasy Baseball Show. Stevie, any thoughts before we get out of here?
I actually have a couple guys. I'm just going to rattle off some names here that are on the IL right now that you could pick up. They could be free agents in your league. We're going to start with Zach Eflin, owned in 57.9% of leagues. He faces the Diamondbacks tonight. If you want to stream a guy, go pick up Zach Eflin. You got Corey Kluber, 57% of leagues. So he's available in almost half of leagues. He's made a rehab start on Tuesday. He may be back in the rotation next week. That could very much help you in your playoffs. Noah Syndergaard is making his first rehab assignment today. He's owned in only 30% of ESPN leagues. And another guy, too, if you have an expanded keeper format, maybe someone to look at, pick up and stash. Yasmani Grandal, available in 40% of leagues. He's said by his manager, La Russa, that his return is imminent, that he's coming back very soon. And we know, Ty, catcher is a wasteland. Grandal was crushing the ball before he got hurt. I love stashing Grandal. I think he could help you win your leagues. And then the last one, Kyle Lewis, who was an amazing rookie, had an amazing rookie year. He's been plagued by injuries this year. He's starting his rehab assignment this weekend. He's only owned in 37% of leagues, available in over 60%. He's a guy I would love to stash in a keeper dynasty format, but he's someone, if he's playing for the playoffs, I want him in my lineup. I think that's another thing too. Look at prospects, look at guys who have been hot to ride the hot streaks, but also look for guys coming off the IL because everyone forgets about them. And you can get some big names, some really high ceilings, good talent for free.
Absolutely, Stevie. Just more and more names to add to your roster to hopefully get you that fantasy W and to bring that trophy back and all the money and glory and bragging rights. And that's exactly what we do this for. So, Stevie, again, shout out for all you do for this show. Make sure you guys get over to trainwrecksports.com for when Stevie's going to be getting some more writing off. He's going to be doing a bunch for fantasy football and whatnot. We're going to have a whole bunch more coming from us and Meerkat with Free Money Football with Degenerate Danger Zone. So make sure you follow us over there at Degenerate Zone for all sorts of gambling content, because it's not just fantasy. We're trying to make you money. They're going to be doing a ton of daily fantasy stuff. Yeah, but we're going to be doing a ton of betting stuff as well. We're all over it. So make sure you guys stay locked into the Trainwreck Sports Network. For myself, Ty B, and Steve.